Hi guys, my name's Nick. I'm one of the service technicians here at the Inverter Service Center, and today we're going to be continuing our series on wire. We're going to be talking about sizing wire, making sure that when we crimp ends on wire that the connections are nice and tight, and we're also going to be talking about making connections via a terminal block or on the battery studs themselves and making sure those connections are tight and clean as well. So if you guys are ready, let's dive on in.
First, we're going to talk about sizing wire. Blue Sea Systems provides this chart, which is a great tool that simplifies wire sizing. There are three key factors you have to account for when sizing wire. You just have to determine whether or not your load is critical or non-critical, the maximum current draw, and the length of run for your circuit. Find the link for this wire chart in the description below to use on your next installation.
The next thing I want to discuss is crimping ends on wire and making sure that our ends, when crimped onto the wire, are nice and tight. A rule of thumb that I was always told is you want to be able to hang at least a bowling ball by the end of your crimp and not have it come loose or come apart. So I have here a 10 gauge piece of wire that I'm going to strip the end here. And again, you want to be able to pull on it pretty snugly so that when you do pull on it, it doesn't come loose or come apart. So sometimes I'll even go as far as double crimping it. So I'll hit it once, hit it twice, make sure it's nice and tight, give it a good pull. That's good. And I could take a bowling ball if I had one here. I could take it and hang it by this and it not come apart. An issue with loose connections equal resistance, and resistance equals heat, and heat equals a fire. So we always want to make sure our connections are nice and tight. So another piece of information I want to give you guys is if we're making terminal ends or crimps in a marine application, it's always best to use heat shrink or heat shrink terminal ends or butt connectors. This is going to make the connection last a lot longer because it's keeping it watertight and airtight. So I'm going to strip back this 10 gauge wire. And I do have heat shrinkable butt connector here. I'm going to go ahead and crimp it on. And I am a double crimp kind of guy, so we'll hit it once, hit it twice. Now, before we heat shrink it, make sure if you're doing this, you're not in a confined compartment filled with any type of flammable fumes, whether it be gasoline or what have you. So then take a torch or a heat gun and apply it to the end of the butt connector. And it should shrink up and keep a watertight and airtight seal, making this last for years to come. So the last thing we're going to discuss today is also, again, making sure we have a nice crimped end, nice and tight, not coming apart. And then also, this will transfer to making sure your connection to the battery or terminal block or bus bar, whatever you're using, is also nice and tight. Because if you do not have this nice and tight, this will cause resistance, and resistance causes heat, and this will also possibly give you issues with the circuit that it's trying to run. So I'm just going to tighten this up here. And now you see we have a nice tight connection that's not coming apart. And no heat should build up. We also use a flat washer on the bottom, top, and a lock washer. So thanks for joining us today, guys. If you found this video helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our channels. We'll see you next time.